Somewhere in your DNA is a number that shouldn't be possible. Every person alive right now, all 8 billion of us, can trace our ancestry back through a population so small it looks less like a family tree and more like a single thread pulled tight to breaking point. For years, scientists thought they knew exactly what almost snapped that thread: a volcano. One eruption, violent enough to nearly delete the human species before it had a real chance to spread across the planet. That story is everywhere. Documentaries repeat it. It's been said so many times it basically passes as common knowledge. It's also probably wrong. And the real answer is older, stranger, and much closer to actual extinction than the volcano ever was. Start with the story you've probably heard. About 74,000 years ago, a volcano at Lake Toba on the island of Sumatra erupted with a force almost nothing else in the geological record can match. Geologists rank it a VE8, the most extreme category their scale even goes to. It's estimated to have blasted out somewhere around 2,800 cubic kilometers of rock and ash. For scale, the 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora, the one that caused the year without a summer and wrecked harvests across the globe, was a fraction of that size. The theory, first proposed by anthropologist Stanley Ambrose in 1998, said Toba didn't just darken the sky. It strangled it. Years of collapsed sunlight, failed plant growth, a die-off severe enough that humanity supposedly crashed down to somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000 breeding adults. Everyone you've ever met, in this version of events, descends from whoever crawled out the other side of that winter. The crater Toba blew open that day is now a lake so big you can pick it out from space, over 100 kilometers long. It's a genuinely great story. It's also been quietly falling apart for the last 2 decades. Here's what doesn't add up. In India, at a site called Jwalapuram, archaeologists found stone tools sitting directly above and directly below the actual ash layer from Toba. Same techniques, same style, no gap, no collapse. Whoever was making those tools kept making them right through the eruption like nothing had happened. Over in East Africa, researchers drilled sediment cores from the bottom of Lake Malawi specifically to hunt for signs of a multi-year volcanic winter. They didn't find one. And when geneticists went looking for a population crash that actually lines up with 74,000 years ago specifically, the signal wasn't there either. By 2025, multiple research teams had landed on the same blunt conclusion. The eruption was real, and it was genuinely catastrophic close to Sumatra. But humanity getting pushed to the edge of extinction because of it? The evidence doesn't back that up anymore. So if it wasn't the volcano, here's the question that actually matters. When did we really come closest to disappearing? In 2023, a team of geneticists working out of East China Normal University published a study in the journal Science. They'd built a new statistical method to comb through the genomes of more than 3,000 living people, hunting for population crashes buried directly in our own DNA. What they found wasn't 74,000 years ago. It was almost 900,000 years ago, long before Homo sapiens existed as a species at all. Between roughly 930,000 and 813,000 years ago, the ancestors we share with Neanderthals and Denisovans collapsed down to an estimated 1,280 breeding individuals. Not thousands. Around the population of a small town. And it didn't last one bad winter. It lasted about 117,000 years, close to 5,000 generations in a row, never really growing, by the researchers' own estimate, wiping out close to 98.7% of the ancestors who came before it. Here's the detail that makes it even stranger. That exact window lines up closely with when 2 ancestral chromosomes fused together into what's now human chromosome 2, and roughly the same stretch of time when our branch of the family tree began splitting away from the ancestors of Neanderthals and Denisovans. Some of the researchers behind the study think this near miss might not just sit next to that split. It might be the cause of it. In the interest of not repeating the same mistake twice, this finding isn't bulletproof either. A follow-up analysis in 2024 argued the result could be a statistical artifact of the method itself. The original team went back, reran the numbers, and published a defense in 2025 standing by their result in both African and non-African populations. That back and forth isn't a flaw in the story. That's just what real science looks like while it's still happening. Nobody hands you a permanent answer. You get the best model anyone can currently defend, and the next study is already trying to break it. So here's where that actually leaves us. It probably wasn't a single volcano that nearly ended us in one dramatic winter. It was something slower and quieter. A population smaller than the daily foot traffic through your local grocery store, holding on for over 100,000 years, in a world before language, before fire was fully mastered, before anything you'd recognize as human. You're not descended from a species that dominated the planet from day one. You're descended from the ones who didn't disappear when the number got that small. Every conversation, every argument, every person you've ever loved, all of it only happens because that thread never quite snapped. The volcano makes a better movie. The real story makes a better species. If you want to know how roughly 1,280 people actually held on for over 1,000 centuries with none of the tools we'd consider basic, that's the next video.